welcome to the words. It's like feeding time at the zoo, isn't it? This is the Audi stand at Paris 2016. And somewhere over there is the new Q5, and somewhere over there is the new S5 Sportback. But we're going to look at two cars just over there from Audi Sport. So the big news from an Evo perspective is they've launched two RS3s. This is the first one, the RS3 LMS. It's designed to race in something called the TCR Championship. Now, I hadn't heard of this, but it's effectively a spin-off of the WTCC, and it's meant to be just a more affordable sort of touring car style championship. So it has to be a sort of 4-door, 5-door body, and they all got around about 330 brake horsepower from up to 2-litre 4-cylinder engines. And yeah, they look like sort of quite fun things. If it's an affordable way into tin top racing, then I should think the championship will be quite good. The perhaps more relevant car is just over there, and it's the RS3 Saloon. So this is the brand new RS3 Saloon. We've seen obviously RS3s and Sportbacks before, but this is the first time we've seen it in Saloon version, and I like a Saloon. It looks pretty cool. I wish the arches were a bit more sort of blistered, sort of like the old RS4, the B7 variant, which was just such a cool looking car. But small, wieldy. We've actually preferred the Saloon model of the S3 as well. It sort of for some reason just seems to work slightly better. So we've got high hopes for this. It's got the all-new, all-aluminium 5-cylinder engine from the TTRS, the new TTRS. So it's got 394 brake horsepower, 354 pounds-foot of torque, 0-62 in 4.1 seconds, and a top speed of 174 miles an hour if you add on the pack that takes off the limiter and all that sort of thing. And yeah, the aluminium engine is now 26 kilos lighter than the old one, which is obviously quite a good thing given you're slinging it all the way out the front. And the Quattro system as well, better than ever, different modes. When you put it into dynamic, it sort of shuffles more torque to the rear more quickly for a more dynamic drive. So yeah, it should be very good. But there's one man here, we don't usually do interviews at most shows, but there's one man who's the most stylish man in the motor industry, and when we were given the chance to interview him, we thought we'd better give it a go. So over to you, Stephan Winkelmann. Steph, thank you very much for talking to me, though.
You're welcome.
Could you just explain the thinking behind, we obviously had the RS3 Sportback for some time now, the thinking behind going to the Saloon or sedan, I suppose?
But the sedan, the Saloon, as you say, I think it's a car which is paramount for the global approach of our company, of our brand. And it's the first time that we're going to sell more cars abroad, so outside the European turf, and more precisely in the North American market and in Asia Pacific. And I think it's a first step. So we have to look into segments and body types which are both exclusive but also well distributed all over the world.
Sure, absolutely. And could you explain the importance for, obviously it's 40 years of the 5-cylinder engine for Audi, which is fantastic.
It's incredible because it's a standalone position, which makes this car so exclusive and gives them the opportunity to enter an Audi Sport as one of the let's say entry-level cars in a very positive sense and the 40 years are incredibly successful. This is the first time that we have an aluminum engine, so 2.5 litre with 400 horsepower, something incredible. Well, it's a standalone position, and it's very rare and unique that a manufacturer is producing and developing an engine for a small volume.
Yes. And you've also unveiled the LMS as well. Is there much crossover between the two cars at all?
There is a crossover, which is clear in it's a lot of marketing, which is sure, but we are entering with this car, with the LMS, in a growing race series, also here worldwide, which is important for the awareness of the brand and also the image. You know that social media, even if there are not a lot of people going to the races, the fan community is growing. And one of the main drivers is really motorsport, and we're looking into it. And then we will come up with a strategy for that as well.
Yeah. And you've been in the job 6 months now?
6 and a half.
So 6.5. And how are you finding it? How are you settling into Audi? Because obviously it's quite a sort of a culture change from...
It's very different.
Yeah.
It's very different. And you know, after more than 11 years in Lamborghini, it's a new world. But I think there are great opportunities in Audi Sport. And now the strategy, we just started. So there's a lot to do. We have a lot on our plate, but it's important to have a clear vision, a focus, and to do the things step by step.
Yes. Have you installed a good coffee machine at Audi to make sure you're going to... And finally, as the most stylish and most dapper person in the entirety of the motor industry, where do you get your suits from?
I have a tailor which I know since more than 20 years.
Yeah.
And he comes to my home, and it's quick, and he always just says, this is good, this is okay, and then we go.
Fantastic. Stephan, thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So there we are. That's Stephan Winkelmann. What a nice chap. Anyway, we thought we'd finish the film here by the Le Mans car because, well, it's a Le Mans car and they look very cool, and I still love those cutouts above the wheels. So I don't know how that's legal. Anyway, let us know what you think of the RS3 Saloon and Winkelmann suits and all that sort of thing on Twitter and Facebook and all the other usual places.